What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Got a fun little video for us today. We're going to be working on the good old minivan. Today we're going to be trying to lower this thing. I've been wanting to do it for a while now. Sorry, I hear a dog barking. My neighbor's got a sander going or something. I don't know. Hopefully it's not too annoying, but anyways, want to get this thing lowered. I'm just going to be cutting the springs today, mainly because this is all for testing purposes. I want to see what it looks like at the ride height, make sure everything clears, but mainly because we got some new shoes for her. These are 5-Zegan FNOR1Cs. They are 17 by 9 on all four, I think plus 35 offset. They have a 245 size tire on all four as well, so that should make quite the difference compared to these little 16 by 6 or whatever these Plymouth laser wheels are. But I think it is going to change the entire look of this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and get it up in the air, and we're going to get started with this project. Alright, so now that I got it up in the air, I can kind of take y'all in a little closer, show y'all what I'm talking about in case none of y'all are familiar with the process of cutting springs. Alright, so on the rear of these, there's actually a shock and spring that are separate. So what we're going to be able to do is take this shock off. That'll allow me to drop this rear arm down and pull this spring out. Now this is the coil spring, so to cut a spring to lower a car, you're literally cutting one of these coils out, either from the top or bottom. I'll just have to kind of look and see which one makes more sense. Now on the front, it's a little different because you actually have the spring on the strut assembly here. They're not separate, they're together, but it's going to be the same process. We're just going to be taking one of these springs out, and again, we'll just see which one makes more sense. These bolts look a little rusty, so hopefully I don't have any issues getting this crap out. I hate breaking bolts more than anything, so we will get started. So there we go, nothing much to it. Came out relatively easy. Just got the one bolt on the bottom, 2 nuts at the top holding on the shocks, and then pry the arm down. I have a really long crowbar or pry bar that I always use for that, and pull the springs out. So rears went relatively quick. Something tells me the front's going to give me a lot more issues with all the rust. So what I may do is go ahead and break everything loose off camera, and then once I know it's going to come out for sure, I will get y'all back recording, just so I don't waste a bunch of footage, I guess. Alright, real quickly, just wanted to show you, I knew something was going to give me an issue, and sure enough it did. It's this little bolt right here. You can see it almost rounded off. It was coming in this way on the back side back here of this brake line bracket. But it's off now, as you can see. Went right through that hole there and screwed into the shock. But now that that's off, I can just replace this bolt when I go to put it back in. But you know, wasted 5 minutes or so trying to get that out. So glad I went ahead and kind of pre-scoped everything before getting y'all on the laps. But these actually broke loose pretty good. Oh yeah, and up here I want to show you something. These have already broke loose, but if you're planning on taking the spring off the shock, now before you ever take it out of the car is the best time to loosen this bolt in here. This one's actually under a cap. They're not always under a cap, but there's a nut right there. You need to go ahead and loosen that, which I have. Before you take it off, it'll just make your life a lot easier once you do get it out of there. Alright, and here's the fronts out. Wasn't as bad as I thought. Somebody had thought ahead and put anti-seize on all the bolts and thread, so that really helped me out. As you saw, the driver's side didn't want to come off the knuckle, so I had to fight with that a little bit, but otherwise came out pretty well. So now we get to move on to the fun stuff, which is these stupid things. Now, if you've never saw those are some coil spring compressors, or a version of it. It's kind of like a little one you can rent from an auto parts store. They make better ones that looks more like a machine press. You know, you set the whole body in there and it does it nice and evenly. These are threaded, as you can see. As you tighten them, they come closer together and they're going to snap over the spring here. So what this is going to do is take all the tension off this top hat. If you were just to unscrew that nut up there that I told you to go ahead and loosen and just shot that off, this top hat would be like a bomb and shoot off. So you put those coil spring compressors on there as a precaution to keep all the tension on the spring until you get this off, and then you can slowly release the tension. I'm just going to barely get them on there because I like the tension to help press this top hat off, because this nut, all it is tightened onto the top of that shaft right there, if you can see that. And that shaft will start spinning, so if you leave some tension on it, it'll help push the nut down the thread and come right off. So let's play some Russian roulette here and see if we can get a bomb to go off. Just kidding, I hope not. Well, there we go. That's why you use the coil spring compressors, kids. Those front ones were a lot more tension than I thought they would be. But as you can see, even that cheap auto parts version of a coil spring compressor kept that guy from flying off the shock at Mach 2. So anyways, now that we've avoided a complete catastrophe, we're down to what we need here. You got the rear springs and the front springs, and it's time to cut them. So this is going to be trial and error. As you can see, the top and very bottom of each spring is a lot flatter than the rest of these, so just taking off that may not do much, but you don't want to take off too much. It's going to be a little guesswork, so because you won't really know until you get it thrown back on the car whether you've done too much or not enough, and then you got to do the whole process over. So let's hope your guesswork is good, and that's really all I got to tell you about it. I mean, just guesswork. I can't give you any formula that will get you the exact height you want to begin with. That's what coilovers are for, and that's definitely what we'll be going for later on in the build. But again, I just want to try to get these thrown on today and see what they'll look like and see if they clear everything. So let's keep going. Alright guys, well, it is a new day. Sadly I lost daylight the other day, wasn't able to finish it, and then we've had rain the past couple of days, so again, still not able to finish it. But I've actually got the suspension reinstalled front and rear. I did that off camera. I mean, it's really just the reverse of what I did to take it off. So, but real quickly, just wanted to show you what I decided to do with the springs here. I kind of, instead of just taking a coil from only the bottom or only the top, I decided to kind of do halfway. I took, you know, some from the bottom and some from the top on both the front and rear springs. Again, I mean, I don't know how far that's going to lower it. We'll just see. But we're ready, guys. I mean, all I got to do is slap the wheels on it now and drop her down, and we can see what she looks like. Either it's not enough, or it's too much, or it's just right. I guess that's the only three options, but here we go. Well, here she is, guys. It's the next morning. Got some better light to get the final shots of the finished product, but turned out pretty well. I think I'm going to leave it right there. After I drive it around, it should settle down just a little bit and be right where I want it. I don't want this thing super slam, so again, was really just trying to get rid of a lot of that fender gap, make sure these wheels are going to clear, which it looks like they will. Got some camber adjustment I need to do in the front, but the rear, no adjustment back there. So it's got a little bit of negative camber, but it's livable. But the front's definitely has more positive. It could use some cambering in just a little bit, but man, I love this thing. Loved how it turned out. Can't wait to keep going with this car. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Really hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Hope you're looking forward to where this thing goes in the future. So if you are, just thumbs up this video, click that subscribe button down below. Until next time guys, just wing it.